And we are back. Pokemon Leaf Green, Hardcore Nuzlocke, only using dragons. This run continues. After beating the third gym, we make our way through Mount Moon and head back to Pewter City to pick up that old Amber for that future Aerodactyl. And then for our third team member, they're going to be found here in Rock Tunnel. It's going to be the Onix, and hopefully we can make it to the Steelix. That brings us to our rival fight in the Pokemon Tower here. It's going to be a 3v5 as the Pidgeotto comes down. We've got Toothless our Charmeleon lined up here. The Pidgeotto sidesteps the first rock slide, but thankfully we connect on the second, leaving Pidgeotto in the red with a flinch as well. Beautiful fade with the Ember, and that brings out the second Pokemon in the starter, War Turtle here. So we're going to pivot into our Gyarados. Saphira getting in on the action here. War Turtle completely terrified of the Sea Leviathan, goes for that defense buff with the withdraw. The Dragon Rage sees right through it, cutting him down with 40 HP, and then just another, and there goes the starter. 3 Pokemon left. Assuming we got a Kadabra in there, maybe a Growlithe, and there is the Fire Puppy himself. The Intimidate comes down. Imagine intimidating a Gyarados with a tiny little fire dog. That is amazing. As the burn comes through as well, this Growlithe will not be denied. However, Bite is special in this gen, so we dodge the attack debuff there as the Execute comes down. A bundle of seeds, a bundle of eggs. Doesn't really matter as we have the super effective Bite lined up. In the red is the Execute, and one more bite will take care of that Pokemon, only leaving our rival with the Kadabra at this point in the game looking good. The next time we see him, he will be that formidable Alakazam. However, the confusion comes down with the burn, and Saphira is now in the red. We are flirting with losing our Gyarados, so we pivot to our starter, Toothless, taking a confusion on the swap. No problem there. We do outspeed with that level advantage and take down our rival. And then we head over to Celadon City, pop into the game corner, and go ahead and secure our fourth team member, and it is the iconic Dratini. We're going to go ahead and add her to the roster. And now it is time to take on Erica, the fourth gym leader, focusing mainly on grass-type Pokemon. The victory bell comes down. However, a stab flamethrower from Charmeleon is way too much. The first Pokemon falls, leading the way for Tangela and its tiny little booties, but it can't hold on either, and that only leaves the ace, the big, the bad Vileplume. Erica putting all of her faith in this big mushroom or flower, and it's not enough either. Erica forks over the gym badge. All right, with our team of 4, we are looking really good against Giovanni here in the Rocket Hideout. He's going to send out his Onix first, so we are going to do him a service and send out our Onix as we miss the Iron Tail. However, the Rage comes down and does a whopping 1 damage. We do connect, and this is just a war of attrition as both of these Pokemon have terrible attack stats and are just happy to be here, honestly, as Onix goes in with the Harden and we go with the Iron Tail. Onix holds on with 1 HP, comes in with a critical hit, Rage doing massive damage, but we fade away with the secret power. Shuriken doing work here, wanting to be a Steelix, but is so far from grace right now, and we go against the Kangaskhan with a tiny little secret power. However, we do get the paralysis roll, which is absolutely massive. On top of that, we drop the defense, and the Kangaroo is getting bodied right now by one of the worst Pokemon ever. The Tail Whip comes down. We lose a little bit of defense. We lose some more defense with the Tail Whip. What is happening as the paralyzed Kangaskhan dodges the Iron Tail and gets a third Tail Whip down? Our defenses are absolutely shot. However, Bite is special, so it doesn't even matter. We are chipping this Kangaskhan down to nothing. We hold on with 15 HP, and it is time to parachute the Onix to safety. Let's go ahead and get our signature Saphira in there. The Gyarados is hungry. The Gyarados is angry, and it's going to shrug off the Tail Whip like it's nothing and fade away with a secret power. That only leaves Giovanni with his final Pokemon, and it being the Rhyhorn here. So we pivot to a special Water Pulse. It is 4 times super effective as well as Stab, and Giovanni is defeated. And then on Route 19, we fish up a Horsia, drop back with the Pokeball, and add our 5th member to the team. Horsia? Horsey? It's going to be a Kingdra. Who really cares? That brings us to the Silph Co showdown against our rival in Giovanni, and the team is looking fantastic. We're still making our way towards the Kingdra and the Dragonite, but we've got the Steelix, we've got the Charizard, and we've got the Gyarados. All right, it is now time to take on our rival in Silph Co. His team is looking so good at this point in the game, and he leads with his Pidgeot. fully evolved, ready to go. We drop back with the Thunderbolt here. It is super effective, bringing Pidgeot to about 30% HP. We tank a Stab Wing attack, no problem there. And then we go ahead and fade away with the Ice Beam. One down, 4 to go. Next Pokemon up and at him is the Growlithe. It is not the Arcanine, but still looking pretty good with that Intimidate at this point. The level 38 holds on about 60% HP. However, the takedown compensates for the lack of damage and basically makes our Thunderbolt a 2-tap. Beautiful. Growlithe drops and the Execute comes down. We don't have a stab, but we do have a super effective flamethrower ready to go. And the bundle of seeds or eggs is completely deleted as the Ace Alakazam, or who wants to be the Ace Alakazam, comes down. A very formidable Pokemon, super scary on the special attack and speed side of things. However, he goes for a Future Sight instead of a Psychic, and then he leans into a Reflect, trying to keep himself alive a little bit longer, which he does, but then he tries to double down with another Future Sight, and he's getting his spoons confused. The first Future Sight does connect, the second is ramped up over here, but he's already gone, and it doesn't even matter. An absolute blunder on our rival's part. He completely let himself go as the Blastoise comes down. The massive turtle tanks the Dragon Rage, no problem, comes in with a bite, doesn't do a lot of damage though, and that's going to line us up for a 3-piece combo with the Dragon Rage. However, we do take that second Future Sight that we were laughing about earlier, and Saphira holds on with 65 HP. Another Dragon Rage is tanked. I'm just kidding. It's a secret power, but it doesn't matter, and the Blastoise goes down. Our rival is defeated. That leads us to our fight against Giovanni here. He's got 4 Pokemon this time around. The Nidorino comes down. We go in with the Flamethrower potentially for the burn. If we can, we cannot. The Horn Attack comes down. We tank that, no problem. We roll another Flamethrower, but this one's a fadeaway crit. And the wannabe Nidoking drops. However, the Nidoqueen comes down, level 41, looking terrifying right now. Tanks an Ice Beam, no problem. Goes for a Tail Whip, maybe setting up for some future damage as we bring her to the red. The double kick comes down, pays dividends on that Tail Whip, brings us to about 48 HP. And it is time to parachute out of there. We still want that Dragonite. However, the pathetic Poison Sting comes across and completely underwhelms the battlefield as Toothless the Charizard takes down the Nidoqueen. We finally got our fully evolved starter here, and we drop back with a Brick Break onto the Rhyhorn. Really high defenses, tank that, no problem, but we come in with another one and take down the Rhinoceros. That only leaves one Pokemon, I do believe, and it is going to be the Kangaskhan, the feared Kangaroo. We drop back with another Brick Break. Very high defenses there as well. Make sure she holds on for about 40% HP, but another Brick Break comes down, and no problem there. Giovanni is defeated, and this team is starting to get out of hand. That means it's time for Sabrina, the 5th gym leader here with those Psychic-type Pokemon. We send out Saphira, our Gyarados, ready to go with the return, really honing in on that super high attack stat that Gyarados has, and the Kadabra is absolutely deleted. Mr. Mime, that is a girl, comes down next. We drop back with another return. Is it enough to one-shot? And it absolutely is. The Mime is gone. That leads to the Venomoth, who, guess what? We lean into another return, and the Venomoth holds. It absolutely does. Goes for the side beam, does not get the confusion, which is absolutely beautiful. And one more return will do the trick. That only leaves the Ace Alakazam, level 43, goes in for the Calm Mind, all of the greed in the world, and if it can hold on to a return, can fire off a really, really strong Psychic, but it does! It absolutely does hold on with 1 HP, but gets a Hyper Potion from Sabrina. Another return comes in from Saphira. Can it be the one? And it holds on with 1 HP again. The Hyper Potion comes down. We are in the rinse-repeat cycle right here, right now. The spoons aren't strong enough. The mustache is flowing, and Alakazam is deleted on the final return. Sabrina forks over the 5th gym badge. Only 3 gyms remain, and that means Koga is up next with his Poison-type Pokemon. The Coughing comes down. We lead with the Charizard, leaning into those Stab Flamethrowers, doing massive damage. The Coughing's gone, leading the way to the Muck here. Very bulky, but can he withstand a Flamethrower as well? He absolutely can. Goes for the Minimized Cheese, hoping that we miss the next one. We roll it, and the Flamethrower connects. Muck is gone. Charizard doing absolute work right now. That leads us to another Coughing. This guy's just going to be a sacrificial, as you do. And now the main course, the main event comes down. The big bad Wheezing, looking really good, but we want to get everybody in there, so we pivot to Shruakan, our Steelix, who tanks a Smoke Screen out the gate. but because of the steel typing, we cannot be affected by those stab sludges or sludge bombs, whichever Weezing is working with. So all he's doing is smoke screening to the heavens, and now we are definitely not going to be able to land an Iron Tail. So it pivots to its next best thing in tackle, and it can't do anything. So this is just an absolute debacle. This is terrible. Neither of them can even do anything. Weezing connects on the tackle, can't hardly damage the Steelix, and then Steelix can't even hit the Weezing, so we go ahead and give Steelix a fair share as we finally do break through on the 14th Iron Tail. We finally hit the Weezing, and that is going to be the alley-oop. We're going to get Shyvana in there. We finally get the Kingdra looking fantastic. It's super weird to have Kingdra on this side of the field, but we get it. Surf comes down, the ocean drowns Weezing. Koga is defeated. I hope you brought your burn heal because it's time for Blaine, the 7th gym leader here. He's got 4 fire-type Pokemon. He has that Arcanine, which is absolutely fantastic. We see another Growlithe here with the Intimidate, but the Stab Surf from the Kingdra completely destroys him. Next Pokemon down is the Ponyta, the cute and cuddly little fire pony, and we get a fadeaway crit with the Surf. No chance there. Blaine's down to 2 Pokemon already. The Rapidash comes down, a beautiful speed stab, but it can't survive the Surf either. Kingdra absolutely flexing, and now the Ace, the Arcanine, another Intimidate comes down, but we are dealing with Surf, which is special. The Ocean comes at the Fire Dog and drowns him on the spot. Blaine is absolutely defeated and a little bit embarrassed. And that only leads the 8th and final gym here. Boss Giovanni takes over with his rock or ground types. The Rhyhorn comes down. We have a 4-time super effective Stab Surf to pop off here. Shyvana, the Kingdra, doing so much work. The Dugtrio comes down, a busted Speed Stab, but it's not enough against the King, or the Queen in this case. Now the next Pokemon is going to be the Nidoqueen, ground poison typing, but will she get a chance to get anything out? And no, she cannot. 3 down, 2 to go. The Nidoking here to avenge his love. Can he do it? And he can. He absolutely can't. He watches in horror as Nidoqueen gets drowned, and then he ends up with the same fate as the Ace Rhyhorn. The coveted level 50 is not a Rhydon, is not a Rhyperior, and Giovanni lets down his team. That is the 8th and final gym badge. And that means it's time for our final team member, number 6 here. We go to Cinnabar Island in the lab and hand over the old Amber, and we're going to go ahead and resurrect the Aerodactyl. All right, given how easy those last 2 gym badges are, can our rival humble us here? Do we get a little bit too comfortable as we make our way to the Elite Four, as it is a 6-on-6 Thorn? Our Aerodactyl's debut comes down against the Pidgeot, a massive Ancient Powder lands. We're going all in for that buff, but we don't get it on either right here, right now. However, we do clear the first Pokemon with hardly any damage. The Blastoise comes down looking really chunky as we are going to get Shyvana in there. The Kingdra, both water types dancing in the rain here. What do we have available? I'm pretty sure Blastoise has Skull Bash, which can be really nice as he gets the withdraw on top of a 100 power move, but the Bite does hardly anything, and we go for that rain boosted Surf, and it also does no damage as well. That 6 level discrepancy is not doing well for ourselves. What can we do in this situation? Blastoise is probably going to be the biggest obstacle other than the Alakazam, so we are going to pivot into Glader here. Our Dragonair, we are getting so close to the Dragonite. It would be an utter shame to lose her right now. We drop back with a Thunderbolt in the rain, and it brings Blastoise into range, which is really nice. And now we're floating about half HP. We get one more Thunderbolt down, and we get rid of the starter. Our rival's Ace is gone, and the Rhyhorn comes down. We do not have Surf, but we do have Ice Beam, which is super effective. Are we willing to roll it just in case? What if Rhyhorn goes in with a Stab Earthquake? That could be devastating, so we pivot into Gyarados just in case the ground type move comes down, and it goes for the normal type takedown, which does nothing in the face of an intimidated Sea Leviathan. The Water Pulse comes down. That is not a Surf, but it is enough to take down the Rhyhorn. The lack of love that Rhydon gets is actually criminal. But anyway, back to the commentary. The Growlithe comes down, and it's not an Arcanine yet. We're waiting for the Elite Four to see that. The confusion is here. Can Growlithe see through it, or does he put himself down? And he absolutely does the latter. That leads us to the Execute, also wanting to be an Executor, but it's going to fall to the return unless it can cling to life, and it absolutely does. The added bulk, Not expecting that at all. The Intimidate from the Growlithe actually doing work there, turning a potential 1 or 2 shot into a 3-shot return. So we are to pivot into Thornheart Aerodactyl. The Solar Beam comes in, and now you can do an absolute tactical sidestep with the fly as you dodge the beam of the sun, and we get a fadeaway crit. The bundle gets absolutely bodied, and that leads us to the Alakazam, a pretty decent matchup since we are faster and have a high physical attack, but it's not enough to one-shot the Alakazam as the Calm Mind comes down. Alakazam about 40-50% HP. Another Ancient Power is here, and we take down the Twisted Spoon himself. Our rival is defeated, and that only leaves the Elite Four. As always, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it, and I will catch you on the flip. Peace.